What's up? Welcome to Elevate Us. Hey, y'all, check out the new logo behind us. We moving on up. Studio looking a little bit different. So, we are elevating Black America. We having these conversations that we need to have so that way we can help you get the information that you need to make sure that you are leveling up your life and doing what's necessary to just change your overall perspective on being black in America, what you need to do to survive here, and where we going, what we doing. So, welcome back, my temporary or maybe permanent or I don't know, my co-host, Jamie.
One of the above.
One of the above. So
Yeah.
say what's up.
What's going on?
Not much. I hear you was at reggae, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Reggae in the desert. It was cool. It was
Yeah.
cool. It was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
Yeah.
I keep saying year after year I'm gonna go, and I don't know. I got to get myself out there. I got to go check it out. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's the new motto. Just go.
just go, just
Just
do
go.
it, just
Yeah.
Nike it.
You know me. You know me. I'm introverted.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you gotta. If you tell me, you got like 24, 36 hours before I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
introvert,
Yeah.
extrovert,
Yeah.
an extroverted introvert.
That part. That part.
So hold on. Let me see. I'm just seeing if we are live on Facebook right now, and we are. So we're gonna also add on here where you guys can, if you have any questions, you can call and you can ask any questions that you want to ask related to what we're talking about. Don't ask us no far out questions right now because we're not equipped for that.
You,
So
what you
I
mean?
don't know. Somebody might ask something. They might ask some kind of crazy question that I don't have the answer to. So, so we stand on track. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If what we talking about is what you ask them questions about. That's it. So, all right. So I'm gonna ask the question of the day, and the question of the day is: do you know who you are? So I asked that question because every so often I fall down rabbit holes. Like I'd be like, man, I don't know. I just start a search on something, and next thing you know, I'm just like,
You
So
caught in the twilight zone.
yeah, I'd be caught in the twilight zone, man. So like, do you know who you are? Do you know, have you done any DNA testing,
Oh, you
Ancestry.com?
talking about that?
Yeah, just
Okay.
well, like yeah, us here, your blood type. Do you know, you
Where
know
would you go to? Where would you go? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of scared. Like I don't want people. Like yeah, I don't be trusting people.
what part?
Listen, I watched what happened to Henrietta Lacks, and I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I just be like, I don't want to get these people nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so
But they
like,
got all their information anyway. When you go to the doctor.
listen, don't be making valid points when I'm trying to tell you that I don't like something. Don't be making valid points.
You know how that is. They done swabbed your mouth when you were the doctor. If you went to the doctor for anything, they just snatched your blood up. Cause I'm gonna tell you, my blood type is Rh negative, O negative, and it actually, I used to be scared when I first found out about my blood type because I started going down the little rabbit hole, and then you find out that all the presidents and all the royalty had that blood type. So then the reason why I had to find this out was when I was pregnant with my first daughter. If you're Rh negative, O negative, you have to get this shot called Rogam, and it is to make sure that that my body doesn't destroy my fetus. So if the baby is Rh positive, my body will see it as an alien, and my body will attack it and will kill it. So
Okay.
every pregnancy that I have to get this shot called Rogam. And, I'm always like, why would my body see my baby as an alien to it, So I had to go do some research on this.
Well, let me ask you this,
Okay.
because my mind always goes to okay, well, before they found that out and they was giving people shots, what was happening to all these people that had your blood type that was having children?
Spontaneous miscarriages.
Oh,
So
for real?
yeah, which I've had three. So that's why, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's like if you don't catch it at a specific time. So yes, I just said I had three
Do I
miscarriages.
need to be sitting by you? Hey, I don't know. You
I'm,
need to see Professor X or
I
somebody, because
know I might be Anunnaki because they say they say that because for one they say that only 15% of people have this blood type, and they say that only 1% of Africans have this blood type. But of course, in my studies and research, You know, I've come to find out that it's a stolen blood type.
Yikes.
I'm not gonna go too deep into that though. I'll just say this: during the time of ancient civilization, they learned how to do blood transfusions, and I'm just gonna end it there. So,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
but that's another time.
But that's another
That's
topic.
another time.
We talk about that another
Gotcha.
time. So that's my question. Do you know who you are? What do you know about yourself? What was your ancestors doing before they got snatched up and brought to America? Were your ancestors brought to America? Were your ancestors indigenous to this land? You know, those are the things that I really feel just on a personal, spiritual level we need to know. Just
Hmm.
just basic stuff about ourselves. So that's what I'm gonna ask you guys, and you guys can comment if you want to, and just tell me what you have found out about yourself. You don't have to get all detailed or nothing, but just, yes, I know who I am. Yes, I know my blood type. Yes, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. So,
How do you feel like that's giving you clarity about who you are as a person?
because when you look into ancient civilization and, going back to Mesopotamia and Babylon and realizing that there are two types of human beings on this planet, right?
Okay.
There is the evolved human being and there's the created human being.
Hmm.
So just knowing, and I think most of us are going to come from the created human beings because we were created from a spiritual entity, and the evolved humans, that kind of came from, dragging the knuckles and I don't know, going into the caves and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So it just gives us, I think it just gives us some clarity. Excuse me. Look, something didn't want me to talk. It gives us some clarity on, our connectedness with
Okay.
our creator. So, I mean,
And for you personally, once you were able to kind of like unravel some of that, like with you, what did it change in your life? And how has that impacted, the decisions that you made or just the way that you go about your life as opposed to before you knew?
I will say that it made everything make sense.
Okay.
You
So it's
know,
more like a clarity.
it's more clarity.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone through life and I really have. I've seen a lot of stuff and I've had a lot of experiences. So a lot of times you're sitting there questioning, are you sane or,
Gotcha.
why are you seeing these things? Why are you having these experiences? So when you start looking into yourself and realizing who you are, where you came from, how you were created,
Hmm.
and understanding our experience here as spiritual beings, then you start to really, it makes sense.
Right.
Everything comes together and it makes more sense to you. So,
Gotcha.
so that's what I gained from it. Everybody's going to gain something different from it.
Gotcha.
But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm heading with the. I have the 11369 Master Key Mind coaching program right now, which will kind of help guide people through, finding out who you are and coming to some realizations and just making some sense of this life.
I like it.
Yeah, because sometimes life don't make sense.
Right. And I think just real quick for me, um, shout out to 19 Keys because
Oh,
so yeah, so in one of his classes that he had, he kind of introduced us to the Myers-Briggs, understanding your personality type.
mm-hmm.
Um, he actually brought on uh, an individual that kind of gave us an understanding of numerology
Mm-hmm.
and introducing us to our life path number. So shout out to Lloyd Strayhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, I'm a 3.
yeah. So yeah, and I'm a 7.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like those are the building blocks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one of the things that I did take away from the Bible when I was big into it is know thyself,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of goes back to exactly what you were saying as far as like understanding who you are on the core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not who you were influenced to be or who you were conditioned to be, but who you are as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you start to kind of unpack those things, then like me, I understand that I'm a seeker, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
thinker. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's one of those things that I now openly embrace about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it actually gives you clarity.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you. Does it give you clarity to where it's like you're not worried too much about what everybody else is doing because now you understand what your path is. You understand what your purpose is, your life purpose, your personal purpose, it kind of sets you in that field of being able to understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the outside noise going on, you still have an ability to come back to that balance of self
Yep.
and say, well, all right, cool. I see what everybody else is doing, but I
Mm-hmm.
understand what my role is
Yep.
in this life. So it's like, okay, boom. I'm more of a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I'm a teacher,
Yep.
and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like when you stay true to yourself, I feel like when people say, "Oh yeah, I got to chase the bag,"
Mm-hmm.
when you stay true to yourself, it's like one of those things where you don't have to chase the bag. The bag is gonna chase you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
You just got to put that frequency out there, and then everything's gonna come to you. Like
Yep.
I've had my cousin, shout out to Aaliyah the Lion. You know what I'm saying? But she used to always tell me, man, you got to get your own podcast, da 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 da. But, you know, me understanding myself and finding myself allowed me to start going out more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came and I met you. And then here I'm on a podcast. It's not mine,
Yeah.
but, you know
But
what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
still me stepping outside of myself,
Mm-hmm.
knowing who I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like once you, like you said, once you figure out who you are, you're no longer trying to compete with everybody else. You're so focused on you, your purpose, your path, and what you're supposed to be doing. You're not paying attention to what everyone else is doing. And I think, the number one cause of depression is trying to keep up with other people, trying to have what they have, and trying to live their lives and trying to do the things that you see them doing,
hmm
and not being satisfied with yourself and not being satisfied with who you are. And it all starts with just getting to know yourself.
right.
And then we got to realize that I know that a lot of people think this is it and then we go to heaven, but it don't work like that. It don't work like that. You got to keep doing this thing until you get it right.
Yeah, respectfully.
Yeah, so it's like you gotta know. And I said this before: if you're just basing your whole existence on one book, which is the Bible, that you probably haven't read the whole thing through anyway, and you're not putting any kind of research and study into anything else. You're just basing everything on just this one book. You might be in trouble.
Right, but that goes with anything, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? With respect to what you're saying, that kind of goes with anything because when you become dogmatic towards things
Mm-hmm.
and you don't kind of, it's hard to relate.
Yeah.
So like even in the Bible, Paul said, "To a Jew I became a Jew; to the Gentile I became a Gentile," because you have to be able to relate to people.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you take on the form of what it is that they believe in, but you find a way to kind of bridge the gap between what it is that you believe in
Mm-hmm.
and what it is that they believe in, and then you find commonality,
Yep.
which is one of those things that we, as a community of Black people, we have to be able to come to that same understanding that we're not in this thing alone.
Mm-hmm.
We all come from different tribes. I might be from the West Coast. The other person might be from the East Coast. We
Mm-hmm.
might have different ways that we live in each respective culture, but at the end of the day, we still have similarities in the fact that we are undergoing racial discriminations.
Yep.
We're undergoing the prisoner pipeline. We're all still being affected by the same thing.
Yeah.
We're just coming from different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those things that once we start to understand that, like, yo, we can relate to each other,
Yep.
and we don't necessarily have to um, agree or do the same things. But at the end of the day, it's still a way that we kind of like reach out to each other and be able to bridge that gap, so that way
Mm-hmm.
we can stick together, unify, and then once we solidified our position to say, okay, we're good now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can kind of start to focus on our individualities,
Yep.
and then have common courtesy, and then have common courtesy in the process.
Yeah. We don't have to agree, but let's just respect each other.
Right.
That's what it is. Just learn to respect each other. So, all right, that's the lesson of the day, y'all. Respect each other. Respect everyone's beliefs. So, all right. So we are going to get into this. Is what part
The
three.
four. You
This
think
is
you
part
slick. You think you slick. You trying to extend the timeline.
We have four already.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is part four, and we are talking today about the BRICS Alliance.
Okay.
So, for those who don't know, and if you haven't been watching at all, BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa was added on later on in the game. And they are all coming together to put together a global currency that will be backed by gold that they will be able to use to trade amongst each other and to possibly take over the position of the US dollar. So am I saying that correct? Oh. But we're gonna talk about it. But I don't want people to be afraid because it's nothing to be afraid of. You always have to remember that in any time that there's anything that goes on like this, there's always a chance for opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're well informed and you prepare yourself properly, then there is always, just like 2008 with the real estate crash, there was a lot of millionaires made. So it's like every time there's some kind of downfall, there's always a window of opportunity that you can take advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
but it only happens if you are informed and you know what's going on. So we're going to add, a little clarity to it, and hopefully, people will take from this and go do some more research and find
Right.
out for themselves. So, but you're real well versed in this. I wouldn't have known anything about this had we not had that first conversation.
Yeah, so it's so like what you just now said, just encourage people to kind of go and use this as a basis, only because time is limited on the podcast, and as much as you kind of want to go deep into it,
Mm-hmm.
I really try to keep things kind of surface level, and try to get the information out there. Would love if people would kind of like put questions out there so we can get to specifics, as opposed to just kind of putting some generalizations out there. But definitely awareness, and I like what you said as far as being able to kind of go out there and not just go out there and kind of look and see, you know, how things work. So fear is based in the fact that we don't necessarily understand something,
Mm-hmm.
and but knowing that it has an effect on us in some capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the people that I follow basically said, "Hey, look, if you fear it, run to it, learn it." You know what I'm saying? Because once you learn it and you understand it, then there's no longer a fear.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's all strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, kind of using the example that you just gave, even with stocks,
Mm-hmm.
when stocks, when companies lose money, you can make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you put options in. If a company is making money, you can put yourself in a position to where you actually make money as they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have stocks and you have a long term, and you're buying in long term for a company, and you're constantly buying and making sure that you have shares within that company, even when that company starts to lose money, you can hedge yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can put in put options. You know what I'm saying? Just by understanding the trends and understanding how and being able to understand the language of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually see these things as they start to develop, and you put yourself in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
As it loses money,
Yeah.
you gain money. So even if you're losing on your stock portfolio, the options is a hedge
Mm-hmm.
to be able to continue to make money off of that,
Yeah.
whether they're winning or losing. So life is the exact same way.
Yeah. And people lose money in the stock market because of fear. When they see it start to go down, they jump out. They take their money out, even whether win or lose. And then everybody starts doing the same thing, and everybody gets scared, and they all start pulling their money out.
Yeah.
And that's just fear.
But it's kind of like okay, well, even if a company is losing money, right? Like I just bought some more XRP, so I bought it at 48 cents. It's at 44.
Mm.
So I'm actually looking for it to drop down to about 38.
Mm-hmm.
But even at 44, I'm gonna take that
Yeah.
because I'm gonna buy it at a discount. If you like Jordans and you walk into a Foot Locker and those Jordans are 225, 180, 130. It kind of just depends on which ones. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, whichever ones you go into the store to go get, if they're 225 normally, and you walk in the store and you see them for 180, you're not gonna be like, oh no, I don't want those. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, oh, discount.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and get that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna
So
jump
it's
on that.
so it's the same way. Like a lot of people fear it, but like Warren Buffett said, he said, I'm gonna buy it at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
yeah, so it's definitely that.
So okay, so I learned some new terms with this yesterday. So
Okay.
so okay, Well, you know what? The first thing I'm talking about is this. The like China is really becoming a powerhouse. And what I kind of gathered from this whole thing is Russia's in the game right now, but of course their economy is not doing good. So a lot of people think that Russia is just trying to get the backing of China with the because of the sanctions that were imposed from the US and all this other stuff, and that China is like literally playing monopoly around the world right now. And I see it because their presence in Africa is getting big. But what's your take on that? And is that really, is it more of China trying to move this thing to kind of take over the position of the U.S.? Is that what you see with the BRICS alliance, or what do you see?
So I look at it like people are just tired of the U.S. Going in trying to dictate who does what, when they do it, how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even just then, was it Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
that passed a law with anti-LBGT tendencies within their country,
Mm-hmm.
and then the U.S. came in and was like, "Yo, nah, this is you can't do this and everything." They're like, "Yo, listen, there's bigger things going on in the world.
Yeah.
We don't need you coming over here trying to push your agenda. If that's what y'all want to worry about and everything like that, you keep that over there. But
Mm-hmm.
we own the bigger things." And I think that with respect to anybody that's within that organization, for everyone else that's on the outside, um, looking at that situation, that's your life. That's what you choose to do. You should be able to live your life how you want to.
Yes.
I think it becomes a problem when now it gets dictated
Mm-hmm.
to everybody else that, you know, we have to change our lives or our children, our, the decisions that we make for our children are no longer in our hands, and even to the point to where it's it becomes criminalized.
Yeah.
And I think that on the grand scope, on the grand scale, there's other things that people look at that they on reasons why they don't want to.
Yeah.
That's not where the podcast is going, so I'm gonna keep it there.
Well, that's
But what I
you
will,
know I threw. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I threw up the fist because the America, they always think they could go bully everyone
Right.
into adapting their laws and their way of life. You know, and like you said, everyone is just sick of that. You know, you're not bullying us anymore.
Right. And I think that from if you are the type of person that has been affected by something that the government has done personally, or it has affected you personally, just imagine what other countries are feeling,
Yeah.
right? Because the same way we're looking at it like, yo, this is my house, what goes on in my house should be able to be dictated by me.
Mm-hmm.
But then you change laws and rules and everything like that gives you the ability to come into my house and tell me that I can't raise my child this way, or come into my house and say that I can't do this, or with the Fed now telling me that I can only spend my money on this and not that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I shared a YouTube video last night, and it was she was the representative from Zimbabwe, and she was going in. She was like, "We are tired of America. We are tired
right,
of the United States. You know, they with their tactics." She said they need to change the way that they do things. They need to give us a seat at the table.
hmm
They need to stop treating Africa like we're just waiting for a handout from them.
hmm
You know, but if you get a chance, go watch it. I just shared it last night, but Africa's not playing with the U.S. anymore. You know, they're done with that. The racism. She talks about how racist America is with them when they come and sit down. They don't even want to talk to Africa when it comes to negotiations because they
they
think that,
dictate.
yeah, exactly. They just come
Well,
in and tell them what they're gonna
right.
do.
So so um, keeping in mind
Mm-hmm.
algorithms.
Yes.
But I'm gonna speak my piece though,
Yeah.
right? Regardless. But um, I think that okay. So say for instance, right? Say for instance, so I seen this happen in prison, right? Where people come in and they're on their own, right? And they have certain vulnerabilities
Mm-hmm.
about them. So just kind of take this in the context of countries,
Mm-hmm.
right? And why China is pretty much the face of this,
Yeah.
right? And why so many countries, especially smaller countries, are willing to jump on the BRICS side. So you have, for example, you had an individual come in, and they weren't, they weren't able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Let's say. So what happened is you start to see more people either join Islam, Bloods, or Crips, right? Now they're not actually equipped to be in either one of those because of one thing or another,
Yeah.
right? But they join those organizations and then they become empowered. Now they feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Now I can, you know what I'm saying? Now I got backing. Well, kind of think about it that same way. If the United States, is one of the most powerful countries in the world, and they have a military that is, I mean, because that's what we're based off of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's really a militia, right? So if you say, okay, boom, all this money is going into the military in order to back the bullying idea or principles, and you go to a country that's smaller than you, but they have resources, they have things that you want, and they don't have the ability to stand up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? You can bully them, right?
Yeah.
In the case of a lot of these guys that came into prison, right? You can bully them, and you can extract everything that you need out of them until there's nothing left, right? But if you have somebody that's willing to take you in, and you know what I'm saying, and they're willing to back you, right? Then why not?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So then a lot of these guys will join these different organizations because they know that they have protection now.
Yeah.
Now the same individuals that came in no longer have that ability to, you know what I'm saying, to bully them.
Yeah.
So what BRICS has done is not only economically, but military wise, production wise, as far as manufacturing, because now you have like BRICS plus, right? Because so many people are in line waiting to join, right? So when Jim O'Neill started it, or when he started the concept or the idea solely based off of what he was able to see economically from these four nations, because remember it only started as four.
Yeah.
From these four nations, he said, "Yo, this is going to be a problem, but a good problem in the sense that it's going to restore balance, right?" So when the term was coined BRIC, he was really just talking about economically, military wise, et cetera, et cetera. So right now with just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America alone, they make up half the world's population.
Yeah.
They make up half the world's population. They have, I think it was
24% of the global GDP.
Yes. And then not only that, but as far as their gold is concerned too, I think they have like 28 point something $trillion. It was I seen some stats that said 23, and then I saw some stats that said 28. So we're just gonna say between 23 and 28.
Oh no, it jumped up.
Oh, it jumped up
to 47. This is what I was watching yesterday, and this is just was posted like 2 or 3 days ago.
Sheesh.
Yes.
Okay.
So 47 trillion.
So now it's jumped up to 47. So
yeah.
And it by themselves, because going back to the de-dollarization that was started in 2013 between Russia and China, as they were focused on removing the dollar's influence in their country, they were actually stockpiling gold at the same time. That's so as the paper money was going out, the gold was coming in. You know what I'm saying? Because it has intrinsic value.
Yep.
So intrinsic value just basically means that it's stable. Like no matter where you go in the world, it's gonna have value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On its own, it has value. So
that's what the analysts were talking about, is how all these countries have been literally stockpiling gold, and they've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And now, with all the other nations that are starting to join in, there's about $47 trillion strong.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, you factor that in, and then the fact that all of the countries that are joining in are the ones that are, backing the petrodollar, because Saudi Arabia jumping in, that's that's pretty much it for the petrodollar.
Right.
Because Saudi Arabia is the one that we have the biggest pact with
Hmm.
to trade oil with,
It's a
and
contract, really.
yeah, it's a contract, but they're done.
Hmm.
They're done. As a matter of fact, they've already started taking other currencies for their oil, other than the American dollar.
Hmm.
So it's what's gonna happen. Like they said, is we're gonna get all of these American dollars flooding back to us, and it's gonna happen so quickly. And people that aren't prepared, it's gonna be devastating for them because the dollar is going to lose value overnight. Like it literally is something that can happen overnight.
Well, I think because th- because the dollar is so influential around the world. Even right now, it still has a high value.
Mm-hmm.
So the scary thing is like when people hear this, they think today they're gonna go to sleep and then tomorrow they're just gonna be like, oh, whoa. It's a progression,
Yes.
and this has already been in the making.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it's gonna seem like it's overnight. But once again, like I said on the last one, you have 114 countries,
Mm-hmm.
right? And out of those 114 countries, um, a little under 30% of those countries, like nobody actually has it in stone.
Mm-hmm.
The closest ones is China,
Okay.
and they should have theirs done by this year. I'm not
Okay.
gonna say the end of this year, but sometime this year.
That's the
But
ability of trading currencies.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. As far as their digital currency is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
so this is definitely something that I would say like be prepared for within the next couple of years before you actually start seeing um, an impact. But to me, right? I think I shared this with you before, but peer review had did a study um, in the '60s, kind of seeing exactly how much the American people trusted the American government.
Mm-hmm.
And at its height, it was 77%.
Mm-hmm.
And then as of May 1st of last year, it was all the way down to 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing: when you start introducing things like that, people are gonna start catching wind because you have people such as us, but then you have people that are actually going 100% in depth,
Mm-hmm.
like step for step of
Yes.
what's going on.
Yes.
So um,
And
when
that's
you
what I follow Robert Kiyosaki. To me, Robert Kiyosaki is definitely one to listen to when it comes down to
Mhm.
the steps that you need to take
Right.
to prepare yourself for things like this. And he gives you real good solid. But he's very tangible, and I know that the newer age younger people are more into like the cryptos
Hmm.
and into the stocks. But um
Well, it's a lady named Lena Petrova. She a beast.
yeah,
Yeah, Lena Petrova.
I have to look that up.
I watch her on YouTube as well. And she dives deep into it. Like she gives you all the details and everything.
All right, let me type
So
her name in the comments because I'm gonna have to look it up myself too.
yeah. So
How to spell that?
Lena, Lena, and then Petrova.
Oh,
She's
okay.
yeah.
Like Russian or something.
Yeah, Pertrova.
Oh, hold on, I messed that up. PR.
No, Petrova.
Oh, PE. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so it's definitely something that you kind of want to get prepared for. But to me, so if you look at all the different things that's been going on, right? Especially like starting, I want to say midpoint last year, all the way up until now, we've seen meat processing plants go up in flames back to back to back to
Yeah.
back to back. We've seen cattle drop back to back to back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same
35
time,
million chickens.
right. So you're looking at all these things. Then you look at Missouri, where they passed they're looking to pass a law where not all of their cattle and their pork are now going to be injected with the vaccine. So you know what I'm saying. That way, they're getting it out there as much as possible. Bill Gates is now working on a chemical that you can spray on your vegetables and fruits, that's almost next to impossible to wash off, that also has the vaccine in it, right?
What?
So it's like you look at that. So basically, what I'm saying with that is that with the people not trusting the government to make the right decisions for the people, the government knows that. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a time within the near future, right? In order for people to fully embrace this whole idea, because I'm gonna tell you the thing that's gonna throw people off, we said it on the last couple, is the fact that the government has the ability to not only invade your privacy by knowing exactly what it is that you purchase, when you purchase, how you purchase, but then at the same time they have the ability to destroy coins and then remake the coin, essentially giving them an expiration date. So when more people start to catch on to the fact that they have this ability, the only way that they're going to, in my mind, the only way that they're going to be able to get people to fully embrace it is by creating a situation where people are going to be begging for them to do it, right? So just saying, if we think about it, everything that's been going on as far as the food supply and everything like that, and and the Fed now, once they get to that point where they can actually fully implement it, how you get people to embrace it, right? Well, exactly. You create scarcity. You know what I'm saying? And then you allow that scarcity to happen to the point to where now you starting to have chaos,
Yeah.
right? So now you got people, what I'm saying, going to their neighbor's house if their neighbor happens to grow food or whatever the case may be. I mean, let's think about it. Like people got to eat. People have children that they have to feed. Elder parents that they may have to take care of. Like people need to survive.
Yeah.
So you let that go on for a little while, and then you champion in, hey, we got a way to fix it. You know what I'm saying? So now you've created an environment to where people will openly embrace something, because when you're going through trauma or stress, you don't have the ability to think logically because you're under a survival mode, right? So when somebody tells you, "Hey, look, I got something for you," right? You're not going to be able to process that logically because you're like, yo, I got responsibilities here. So whatever you got that's gonna make it easy for me, give it to me.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that once we get to that point, I don't see them being able to do it any other way.
Yeah.
But I think that's getting to that point. Ironically enough, you're starting to see, or at least I am. I guess it kind of just depends on how your algorithm is set based off of what you look for on social media.
Yeah.
But me, I'm getting a lot of satellite phone ads. I'm getting a lot of generator ads for your home. I'm getting a lot
Plants.
of
I got like a whole bunch of different things with seeds and,
yeah,
and land and
yeah, I'm getting the whole like what do you call them, aquaponic systems
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
the
can, you know what I'm
hydroponic
saying, where
systems.
they
Yep.
where you can grow like 30 or 40 different plants on one tower.
Yep, on the
You know what I'm
tower
saying?
right
So
inside
it's
your
like
house.
when you start seeing stuff like that in their ads, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Dr. Sebi said that a government that creates a problem, I'm going to probably say this wrong, that creates a problem and then sells you the cure,
right, that part.
is an insane asylum. And that's pretty much, that the description of America and what we live in, because they create chaos. They have this whole chaotic system that they put together, and then they look like the savior when they come and give you the cure or the remedy for it. But there is something that's fitting to their agenda. It's not something that's going to be necessarily good for you. It just seems at that time that it's good because it's they've already created the problem in the first place. So now they're looking like they're fixing the problem, but they're really not. They're just kind of adding more
Right.
to it. So, I've said this before, but I'm moving to Africa. I don't believe all this ghetto America stuff.
No, but seriously, like and it's crazy because hindsight. So I'm working on a project, right? And in in the beginning part of what I was writing, um, I wrote down, you know, why I was writing the book,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, it what it did was new information kind of really forces you to kind of look at things that you might not have missed,
Mm-hmm.
where you can now connect the dots because now you have that information to do so, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, boom, you have um, uh, when you look back on it, when was it? 2020, 2021, when what was it, the process where you can get the citizenship, they were giving you the
Oh,
citizenship,
yeah, yeah, dual
um,
citizenship.
to yeah, to go back to Africa.
Yeah, I think that started in 20, was it 2020? It was,
It might have been 2020,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like when you look at it, it's like,
Mm.
wait a minute, were they telling us something without telling us something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole initiative to kind of go back to Africa, and it's like, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
all you got to do is come in, fill out the paperwork and everything like that. That
Yeah.
way you'll have dual citizenship. Like, are we really kind of really missing the message
Mm-hmm.
of what's really going on? Because it's like you definitely want to be kind of cautious in the way that you present an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
before, because you know, I mean,
Yeah.
if they would have come straight out and be like, look, this is why we need you to come in, because in the next couple of years, it's kind of like um, seeing Bill Gates in 2016 on a TED talk
Mm-hmm.
saying that in the next, you know, we need, I know we prepare for nuclear wars and stuff like that, but in the next few years, in
Mm-hmm.
the next 4 years, we're gonna have to start preparing for a virus outbreak.
Mm.
Like, why would you say that in 2016 and then give a timeline of 4 years
Yeah.
that it has to be that you have to be ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Obama in 2015 talk about you know, in the next 4 to 5 years, you know, we definitely want to start preparing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and being able to be, you know, have your health,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a good place. Why was Michelle Obama pushing for us to eat more vegetables and stuff like that and get our immune system built up, et cetera, et cetera?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost to me like it was one of those things where you kind of play two sides of the fence,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
but I can kind of explain to you what's going on,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not gonna say maybe he wasn't playing two sides of the fence. Maybe it was, you know, the stoop, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that sat by the door. I mean,
There
it could be.
was,
Go ahead.
it was in, I think, 20, I think it was 18. There was a movie and it was called Contagion. It was on Netflix.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't even on Netflix. And this movie, when you watch, it wasn't 2018, it was 2016.
Okay.
When you go watch this movie, it shows COVID all the way from the start to the finish. And when I went back and I watched this movie and knowing that this movie came out in 2016, you kind of mad, like, damn, they this whole thing was already put in place. They already knew what they was gonna do.
Hmm.
So go back and now I think it's gonna be harder to find the movie, but it's called Contagion. And when you sit back and you watch the movie, it's COVID all the way through, and then on Ghana, they're still extending that offer right now for us to have dual citizenship. I actually know a few people that have taken advantage of it. And not only can you get dual citizenship, you can also go and buy products there, bring them back here and sell. So, they're just trying to boost their economy right now. So they want
Hey.
us. And then the rep from Zimbabwe, she was saying that there's a time that, we're going to come for our brothers and sisters in America. So they opening up the door for us, and we're gonna have to definitely, start. Are we getting close? We have to start, kind of thinking about. Look, you see this right here? What that say?
Exit plan to South Africa.
I don't know about South Africa anymore, but I know it's to Africa. But I'm putting together an exit plan, and I'll start talking about what the exit plan is. But I know there's some people that they're not going nowhere; they're going to stay here. You have elderly parents, or you have children that are in different places or whatever.
But
But I think it really would be wise for us as Black people to look into dual citizenship.
well, and if you're not looking to kind of like have that exit strategy, because of some of the reasons that you said, at least prepare yourself as much as possible.
Yeah. Be ready to roll. That's
Right.
it.
So, because I mean, listen, I've probably been doing like even with me and my pops, like you know what I'm saying. Me and him have been talking more. Um, I've been introducing him to people that does working on 401ks and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Which I just actually just saw something earlier today where you can actually take your 401k and there's a company that restructures your 401k for you to where now um, it goes towards precious metals like gold.
Oh
And
yeah. I saw
because it's
that.
an asset, because it's an asset, it's non-taxable. So you can swing that straight over into
What's his name? It was
precious metals.
Scott something. I just seen that too. Where
Yeah.
he said you could roll your 401k over into precious metals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
'cause
and being a life insurance agent, we have the ability to roll it over into a life insurance IUL as well. But that again is something that we're basing on the American economy. So
right,
so,
right.
but
Or index.
or index,
Yeah,
but I feel strongly about having life insurance. I feel like it is a tool, it's a vessel that we can use,
absolutely.
to grow riches with. So there's other ways of I feel like a 401k, it's a good start. It's a good starting engine, but you really have to be able to, manipulate it better,
Hmm.
in better ways. So, but so we're gonna wrap up a little bit, and we're going to I think we did kind of start talking before about ways of protecting yourself, which we are doing now.
Hmm.
And, again, I say, I'll say the same things over and over again. Find your tribe, get some land, start growing your food, because that's the only way, honestly, that's going to be the biggest attack that they have on us is through food. And if you don't see that right now, you better pay attention,
Right.
because like I said, they killed in the last year 35 million chickens. Pay attention to this. And then the amount, I think it was 400,000 cows and pigs in the last year as well. That's big. That's a lot,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
and then also they have more and more companies that's starting to actually create these things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they're literally printing meat
Yeah. Oh,
and
God, I saw
everything.
the
You know what
chicken.
I'm saying? Yeah, they're printing the meat. They're doing like
It's a 3D printer.
yeah, and then even what they're doing with like salmon, it's like the things that people eat the most,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're starting with.
Yeah.
So, they started with salmon a couple years back, and it's crazy because the salmon the genetically modified salmon, what they were trying to do was they were trying to take the genetically modified salmon and put them in the water with the real salmon in hopes for them to start procreating and making offspring.
Mm-hmm.
The genetically modified salmon actually start eating the real salmon. So it's just like, yikes.
Man, we finna live in a Franken world.
I promise you, I feel like, so I read a book, it's called Freakonomics. And it came from an economic standpoint, but that was one of the things. So on the front of the book, it has an orange. Is it an orange with no, it's an apple. It's an apple cut open, but the inside is an orange, right?
Mm,
So it's kind of like, just preparation,
that's
just
it.
preparation.
Prepare yourself, get yourself together, make sure you have a plan, and start putting some gold together, start getting some gold pieces. So don't say we didn't tell you, don't say we didn't warn you.
But yeah, on another note, so BRICS, just to kind of recap a little bit, and then like I said, engagement is best
Hmm.
because then we'll know exactly what to touch on. But this is just a generalization of what it is. I know people probably have questions and everything like that. And I know you said some people usually come back on and watch the video after the fact.
Yes.
But if we're just giving you generalizations and we're opening the door for conversations, but we're not getting the questions or anything like that, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly the questions that people need.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like general news that you would normally see.
Yes.
But the biggest thing is just understanding, kind of going back to what you were saying with BRICS. BRICS is more so one of those type of things where they're getting the smaller countries an opportunity to have a seat at the table,
Hmm.
and they're using it to kind of protect these smaller countries from the bigger countries. Japan exited the G7.
Yeah.
So they're no longer an alliance with, America,
Yep.
Germany, the UK. They're no longer that. And
Yeah.
not only did they exit G7, but they actually started paying a higher price to get their oil from Russia, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to, continuing to get their oil from, you know, essentially Saudi Arabia, which is because of the contract that they have with America. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'd rather pay more
Yeah.
than have to deal with you.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, you guys pay attention. Watch everything that's going on. Pay attention to the economy. It's important. You don't always have to just, worry about all the pettiness going on in the world. Start looking deeper and start looking into, matters that issues that matter to you and your family, and that's going to keep you guys protected. So, all right. Well, that is it, and we are out. Once again, if you are interested in finding out about my 11369 Master Key Mind, just hit me up on Facebook. And it's a whole program, coaching program on diet and health, and it's health, wealth, and love. So we'll go through the whole processes. So anything that you want to say? Do you have any products that you need to push? Anything? This is your shameless plug.
oh, no, right now, like I said, I'm working on the project. So, I had an original timeline for it. So I'll speak on it later.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep you updated with everything that's going on with that. So, all right, and don't forget, come out to Coffee and Conversation Tuesday at Mariposa's 11 o'clock. It's on Decatur. I don't know the exact address, but come check out Coffee and Conversation. That's where it goes down. And on that note, we are out, and I will see you guys next Sunday, 6 o'clock. All right, peace out. Elevate us.